floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of this body. I did not rise to speak about Black History Month, nor did I rise to speak about the budget. I'm rising to speak about something else. When I saw these young people sitting up in the balcony, I felt compelled to do this because something that happened to me on yesterday. Yesterday on the 5th floor, my legislative assistant came down and told me, she said, Delegate Howell, did you see all those students up in the West room? I said, no, I didn't. She said, well, I stopped by to talk with them because they all appeared to be Black students. And she asked them, where were they from? And they told her, Virginia Beach. Well, you know, I represent a part of Virginia Beach. So I insisted upon going down and speaking with those students. And ladies and gentlemen, as you probably know, I do not like to speak on this floor. But when I say something, I say it because I mean it. I have voted on 2 bills here this year that some people like and some didn't. That's all right, too. I voted for the school choice bill because I felt it was the right thing to do. I even voted for my friend over there, his bill that had to do with, he knows what it's about. I voted for that bill because I believe it will save lives. And this is one of the things that I told those young Black people yesterday. You know, my friend, Brother Cox back there, he knows that I'm a history major. And there's a couple of things that we learn in history. We learn about primary and secondary resources. It's very important. So I thought I would provide them yesterday with some primary sources. I took them back to 1954 when I was traveling down Highway 189 with 2 of my Black friends. It was at night. And it was suggested to me that I stop. And I asked them for what purpose. And they said, so we can beat this man up. I said, why? They said, because he's white. Well, you know, life is all about making choices. I made a choice then to do what was right, to keep driving. I reminded those young people from Virginia Beach yesterday. I had my aide to bring down my graduation picture from 1956 and noted on there that there's 16 people in that picture. We were all Black. This was in 1956. I reminded them, and when I was teaching at the all-white Hampton High School, this is the message that I left with my students. You teach history as it occurred. You don't change it. The fact remains that in that class of 16 people, only 2 went to college. That was Wardell Baker and myself. When you look at the other 14 people, and this is the message that I tell all young Black people, and I can say this to the young people that's up here today. In America, if you look at this audience here today, you can see who's in control. And that's who's in control throughout the nation. If you want to make it, if you're Black or any minority in this country, if you want to make it, there's only one avenue for you, and that is education. Now, you probably read in the paper a couple of days ago about Allen Iverson, you know, the great basketball player. With all the money that he made, Allen Iverson is now broke. In the 50s, when I was stationed in Germany, there was another popular person stationed over there with me. I didn't know him, not personally, Elvis Presley. He was oftentimes in the Stars and Stripes. Never met him. But you know what happened to Elvis? You also know what happened to Michael Jackson. You also can see Muhammad Ali now, who used to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. I'm not a doctor, but I believe the way he talks today is a result of all those blows that he sustained on his head and affected his brains. Just last Saturday, and some of you probably watched it, some of you didn't, the Whitney Houston saga. If you watched that, you saw Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry gave an eloquent speech, I thought. We also had T.J. Jakes, who spoke, and the Winans. I listened to all of them. But the speech that impressed me the most was the one that Kevin Costner gave. Because what Kevin Costner said was what those of us who are here are supposed to be trying to do. You remember the little thing I read to you the other day about one who has the power to bring about change or do what's right? While Kevin Costner was faced with the decision to make as to whether or not that Whitney Houston could appear in that movie or not, and when it was learned by the people who had part of the control, they said, well, she's going to be on tour for a year. That's good. That might give us an excuse for her not to be in the movie. But Kevin Costner made a decision. Kevin said, let's put it off for a year so that she can appear in there. You know, there's two young men here. One, his office is right next to mine, and I like to kid with him a lot. And the other young man that's sitting over there watching me now. Two good friends of mine. And I've said to them, and I will continue to say, and I will say to the young people up here, this is the United States of America. It's all about the decisions that you make. Life is about choices. If I had come here when I was in my early 20s, Mr. Speaker, not only would I have the desires to be the Speaker of the House, but my desires would have been to be the governor of this state. But I came here too late. But I say to those young people up there, I say to these young delegates that's here today, this is America. If you work hard and look in the right direction, you can be whatever you want to be, regardless as to who you are. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.